Hey everybody, it's Cesar with Symphony Advertising. Another tip podcast, little video session that I wanted to make for you guys. And I wanted to talk about social media posting. So one of the easiest ways to just get started to be consistent on social media, and I'm not even talking about like having a robust strategy, because to create a strategy, putting some thought in it, putting some weight, like how to further your brand, that takes time. That takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of thinking, research, competitor analysis, then really knowing who you are as a brand or a business. That is real work. Like, social media is not only about just posting, but if you have a business, and pretty much having a social media account is like hand in hand with doing anything almost these days. So one of the first steps is, of course, creating the accounts, which just about everybody does. But the second step, or the second part of the process, is to actually post on those platforms. And what happens a lot is that's the hard part. And so here at Symphony Advertising, we help clients post on a monthly basis. And the way we do it, for clients that aren't like, again, not going the full 100 yards, super branded, content calendar, like, it's more about just posting to show that they're active and to share some of their images, their pictures, their videos to further explain what they're up to, which is still good. We handle that for them. And the way we do it is once a month, at the beginning of the month, we sit down for a couple hours and we schedule out their postings for the month. So I wanted to talk about that and what we do to get a full month's content out in 2 to 3 hours. There's going to be a couple things though that you need to have, so it might at first be a little bit more. So number one is I recommend to get some kind of automated posting app. So there's a lot. I'm going to recommend the one we use, but there's a lot of different ones. So I just Googled social media posting apps, and you get a ton. Honeybook, Hootsuite, Capterra, Buffer. I think there's one called Edgar. There's like just a bunch. And I've used quite a bit of these just because I've been in marketing for some time, back when I used to work at an agencies, and then came and started our own thing. I have found that the best one at the most affordable price is one called Fanbooster. I think it's like $49 a month for up to 3 different accounts, and each 3 accounts can hold 3 social profiles. So that should be more than enough for one business. They might even have like a solo plan where it's just for one account. And honestly, it's probably going to be, way more affordable as well. Because what I find is with things like Hootsuite, or one of the first ones that got really popular at first, those things are pretty pricey now. If you're just using it to post, nothing crazy, not even like really taking advantage of like all the extra features that it has, there's no need to go into like, for example, the Pro is $200 for the Fanbooster, but it's not needed. So I recommend Fanbooster. I'll add some screenshots below. It's really bare bones. The UI is nice. It's nice. It's kind of, it feels a little old school, but you can really, it really gets the job done. You can create like a schedule. Like for us, we like to post 3 times a week during the weekday. Usually it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around the morning time. So you can set up that schedule so every time you create a post, it goes in that pipeline, or you can literally click on Monday, May 8th. I don't know if that's the right date. Then you do the next one Wednesday, May whatever, 10th, and so on and so forth. And it's really simple to use. You just connect your profiles and you're good to go. So that's what I highly recommend, because if you try to do it on a day-to-day basis, like, oh, hey, if you put your calendar on your phone or your computer and it, you get the alert, it's 9 a.m., time to post something. You're going to have to stop what you're doing, think of what you want to post, where you want to post it. And that, even though it could be a 5, 10, 15-minute things, it you're not in the mindset of that. You're probably doing something else. So I found that if you sit down, whether it's just you or you and your team, or you hire somebody, right? We can take care of it for you. Sit down, get in that mindset of like, okay, we're gonna create content for the next 2-3 hours, and then schedule it out. It's much easier, it's much more effective, and honestly, you save a lot of time because you don't have to go back and forth every single day visiting the same thing to try to accomplish this consistency. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that you create it. Oh, is that you can, while you set up, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that doesn't mean when something happens, on a good day, or someone shares something, or a customer sends you a photo, that you can't post that on Thursday, or you can't add that to the Friday one, or you can't replace one on Monday, for instance. It's super easy to do, and the schedule just helps you fill out the consistency, but you can still add on your one-offs, the ones that you didn't know were coming. Okay, the next part of the process is having images or videos ready to go. And this really depends kind of on your industry. So if you're in an industry where you're constantly out, so for instance, we have a roofing company, and they use something called company cam, where they take all the pictures for their jobs, like the befores, the afters, the during, just to keep track of what they're doing. And they gave us access to that, right? And then they'll just mark they'll mark the ones that we can add to their schedule. So it's really, really easy for us to work with them because they already have the images for us. We create what we talk about, which is really their services, how they can contact them, and that's that. It's pretty straightforward. That's one way, right? And that's the best way if you have an active folder where there's constantly being images added. Whether it's, some good examples for that is like restaurants, landscaping, roofing, any local service that you have to go somewhere and do something, I think is one. Or if you're selling a product to customers. So like if it's a shirt they wear, if it's a watch they have on, if it's, something that is good visually, really easy. You just have to get that folder going and have people add to that folder. That's one way. The second way is much harder, but is to create. There's three ways that we use. The second way is to schedule like a photo shoot. So for one of our clients who's a product, they sell a product. They schedule a photo shoot. They took like a lot of photos, and then we have this big file or this big database of photos that we pull from. The only issue is that you run out of photos, and then you have to do the photo shoot again, or repeat what the images that you've used, videos that you used. While that's not too crazy in theory, it is pretty hard to then you got to worry about finding a photographer or a videographer. It's just a couple more external things that you have to do. That's still totally worth it, but I feel that if somebody's having trouble posting on social media, it's going to be a lot harder to even get a photo shoot ready, because that's a lot of involvement. But it's still very good because you're, again, showing your brand, sharing, engaging with your community, growing your community, so on and so forth. And then the third one, which is probably the least desired one, but it's better to exist than to not exist, meaning that it's much better to post and have people see it than not. Once you're there, you can gauge the quality, right? So then it's like, okay, my quality is pretty bad. Then it's just about raising that bar. But I still think it's better to do something than not on social media. The last one would be to use stock photos. So there are a couple of free ones that you can find and use. Unsplash is one of them that we use. And then I think the other one's called Pexel. Hold on. Unsplash, yeah, Pexels.com. So those are two free options, but you can also use other ones that cost some money. It's usually like a subscription based. Again, I wouldn't recommend that just because if you're not really posting on social media to start off with, you might as well start with the free options and go from there. But they have great photos, and that's where you can collect your bank from. And again, I would just go, part of that 2 to 3 hour session is go download, 30, 3, 6, 9, 12. So if you post 3 times a week, that's only 12 images. Go download 12 images, schedule them in Fanbooster or whatever social media app you have, and then just very bare bones. The copywriting part is kind of tough. Again, that's what kind of like slows people down. It's like, what do you say? What hashtags do you use? But for that, I would honestly look in your industry, other companies and what they're doing, and kind of make your own version of that, because that would be the easiest way to keep going. Now, if you can get creative and talk, what your messages, it's much better. And I find that the best way of doing that is pretend you're talking to a customer. So like if I have if I work at a coffee shop and I sell coffee and I take a picture of this coffee, put it on the scheduling app, upload the image, what do I say? Well, what do I say when I sell this coffee, or when someone asks about this coffee, or about the price of this coffee? Like, think of yourself as you're talking to a customer, whether it's via phone, in person, off a form, because generally that's what people want to hear. Because people are very curious. They want to know what's going on with the subject. So anyways, those are the tip or the guide on how to simplify and get started on a social media content planner for a month. And we do it month by month. So May we do it, June we'll do it. We'll do it by a month-to-month basis, but there's no reason why you couldn't do 3 months at a time. We just like to keep it a little bit closer to real time, where because you never know what's going to happen or what becomes relevant or what's a better thing to post, especially with some of these like live or real close to being live images. We don't want to post about the summer work when it's fall. So those are the tips. If there's any other social media apps that you guys use to schedule, let us know. Peace out.